Oh man. Oh. Howdy all, welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little Some Days to Die. Freaking Windows. Uh so there's a big update this week, right? Like reboot my computer and stuff. Every time it messes with the sound settings. And I just recorded for, I don't know, probably good 30, 40 minutes. And then I realized, hey, I don't have any sound coming out of my microphone. I'm in the Zavislak residence, four skulls difficulty, and I've cleared it. I died once, um, right at the end. Uh, I'd assume all the bodies are gone. Yeah. There were I was calling mole people. They were the zombies have like not the construction worker guys, um, but they've got like bandoliers on their chest and they're kind of green colored. I always imagine them as miners for some reason. I haven't really taken a close look at what they are supposed to be. But this building was full of them. I probably killed 6 or 8 before I even got to this floor, and there were like another 10 on this floor. They kept coming out in pairs or triplets. There were a lot of them in this building, or in this house. I don't know why, but there were. I wanted to make a new spear today, but I don't have enough iron, and so I was gonna decide to come out with my new iron tools and do a little looting, scavenging. Of course, I don't have any lock picks on me, so oh, I did find. Check it out. Clothes. Clothes are a thing. I got tattered socks, tattered glove liners, tattered undergarments. That's not something I have been able to find up to this point. I was looking for this kind of stuff, but I was looking for it at the Savage Wilderness place. Because I remember they used to have like the pants and shirts and shoes. I don't remember socks before. And the cloth gloves. Um, and so I was looking for that kind of stuff, but this is the first time I've found any of that since the update, anyways, that I believe put clothes into the game. Back into the game. Into the game. I don't remember if they were closed before. I think so. I think you had a lot of slots, and so you put like you'd have your armor slot and your shirt slot and your coat slot and your pants slot and your leg armor slot. Uh, that used to be a thing. Just shoes though. I don't remember there being a shoe armor slot. And there was just hat. I don't remember there being a secondary hat thing. Well, there was the scarf you could wear around your mouth, right? Um Yeah, it used to be a lot more slots on your character. Okay, okay, I'll let my stamina regen. Well, I didn't get the chance to watch the old Bone Temple yet. Been meaning to, just ain't done it. Um, but we did watch. We did go see the Iron Lung, and I liked it. I'm really surprised at the terrible reviews for it. I thought it was pretty well done. I mean, I like that kind of trapped in a small space, eldritch, cosmic horror stuff. But yeah, it's spoilers. It's the Markiplier movie, and so I wasn't really going into it expecting a whole lot. But no, it is pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. Um, it wasn't amazing. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like, oh look, there's gotta be some junk in here I don't need. All right, now I gotta get this whole pile of stuff back to base. I was looking to see if there was a quicker way out of here. I mean, there is a quicker way out of here. I could just smash through a window or something, but wow, I thought you'd do a little better, Axe. But yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. I thought the set design was nice. The special effects were good. CGI was good. Acting was good. Story was pretty good. Um, I liked a little more. I would have liked a little more story. I think. Um, there's a lot going on. I've never played the Iron Lung game, and so I did look up afterwards what the game was like, and apparently the game is a little different than the movie. And so instead of so there being an actual plot line, it's more of just you find weird things, and so the movie kind of pieces them together into a storyline, I guess. And so uh, I liked what storyline there was. I just wish they had expanded. Dude, it was 2 hours long. I wish there was more. Uh, I I yeah. So I guess spoilers if I didn't say that already for Iron Lung. They had a lot of so the story is a lot really intermixed, and so you get bits and pieces as you go, so you don't really know what's going on, and um and so there is that, but like Markiplier's character, Simon, he apparently was involved in some kind of cult as a child, and they took over a space station, and they were like, I didn't quite understand if they were killing themselves or if they were killing the rest of the people on the station. Um, and then Simon's the only one that survived, and so because the basically everyone in a small area, it seems like, in their spaceships and space stations got trapped, and so or the universe got eaten. One of those two things happened. Which is true, I don't know. Um, and so the people on the space station went crazy, and so they didn't have any food, or they're running out of food, or there's not enough food to help everyone, to feed everyone, and so they blame Simon for the destruction of the station, and then they're not gonna execute him. They're going to make him pilot the sub as his punishment. And so the way it works is okay, these seem to be ready. They found a moon, and on the moon is an ocean of blood. Oh, that guy's not. Look at that little guy. And and so they've been trying to explore it. And so Simon is the latest sub pilot they've sent down. And since they don't care if Simon lives or dies, he is expendable. And so they give him a map and they give him coordinates. And because the sub is going into an ocean of blood, you can't look out windows. So instead, they've rigged it with a X-ray machine, and so every time you push the button for an X-ray, you get a picture of what's going on outside. Um, and you think I've got enough iron yet for my? I want to make a new spear, but it's 32 iron. Oh, I do. Nice. No, shoot, that's regular iron. Sorry, I didn't want regular iron. I want forged iron. Oh. Oh, I don't have clay. Oh. Shoot, I thought I didn't have enough. I thought I didn't have enough iron, but it's clay I don't have enough of. So yeah, so he goes down in there and he's slapping the button to X-ray, and I did think it was weird. I don't know what the game's like. I didn't play the game. I didn't think it was weird that everything is like all over the sub, and so you would think that you would think that if they were trying to go into this ocean of blood and they were worried about pressure and stuff, that they'd make their subs a little more condensed. And so the piloting controls are at the front of the sub, and the X-ray machine is on the wall behind the chair where you pilot the sub, and then there's like a computer even farther back, and there's like a crawl space under the floor, and I'm just like, dude, this sub is way too big. Um, but again, I don't know what the game is like at all, and so he's always getting up out of his chair to slap a button. He'll move this sub and then stop and then slap the button, uh, so it was interesting. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed not knowing what was going on, and I'd like to have known more about the cults or whatever was going on with that, and I'd like to know what wiped out all the universe, or if they just got swallowed by something. And they didn't really explain the Ocean of Blood. There's like some big thing there that they showed, and they make him go back into it to get. He finds another sub at some point, and they make him go back to get the data off of that sub. And I was like, okay, hold on. You're running out of food, but you got an ocean of blood. You couldn't just, you know, harvest the blood for protein and stuff. Uh, Apparently it's human blood too, so that's weird. Um, but yeah, no, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Like I said, the special effects were good. I'm a big fan of trapped in a small thing or like that. I love small group of people in a spaceship. You know, um, uh, I did read some reviews. People really didn't like this movie, and the one review I was like, really? They were like, this movie, this movie makes Event Horizon look like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I was like, okay, come on, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. I was expecting it to be bad because I've seen movies made by streamer people before, YouTubers, whatever, and some were okay, but I've never seen a good movie really by a YouTuber, unless it was like some big production thing. And this was not a this was like what I think Markiplier basically did this whole movie, right? And um, it was good. For I did read one review that said it stuck too close to the mechanics of the game. And I might kind of agree with that. I wish it was I wish it wasn't individual pictures that he was taking. There was a better spot later. I actually don't mind that it was individual pictures. I don't like that until later in the movie he had no way to review the pictures. And I think if they'd I think it'd been better if it would have been that from the beginning. Um, and it's a little weird that they were like in a submarine, and uh, I don't know. I'd have had more sensors of some kind. Like where was his depth sensor? Uh, sonar stuff showing the bottom or something. Uh, and they didn't really have any of that. They just had basically the X-ray. There was an oxygen thing, but it turned out not to matter. I guess the game is like that too. But I've never, like I said, never played the game. Uh, um, it's hard to remember what I said and what I haven't said yet because I already talked about this movie when I recorded before and realized I didn't have any sound. Uh, it Yeah, I guess the game is more of a here's your sub, no storyline. Here's some interesting things to take pictures of. The end. And so they took the pictures basically and the weird things in the game and they turned them into a storyline. So I thought that was that made it interesting to me, anyways. And uh, yeah, I liked it. I liked him going in and hallucinating and losing his mind, and um, the lack of light is really good. I just wish he had the ability to scan back through the pictures to give him some idea of where he was going. That would have been nice. Because there is couple of spots in there where he does flip through once he gets control of the computer, the images that he's taken, and uh, you just don't really get a feel for what's going on around him, I guess. And like there's a couple of spots where he's like outside the sub later on, but that's in a cave, and so then you can see the cave. But you don't ever really get to see what's going on around him. Again, I like that, but I also wish there'd been maybe just a little bit, just a tiny bit more of that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why people hated it so much. It was decent. I was trying to think if I watched anything else. I've been watching The Shield this week, which is an old cop show I used to watch. And that's been interesting. I don't know when The Shield came out. I want to say the 90s, early 2000s. And it's a little weird. It's a little weird now. Everything is like these big overblown stories, and I remember watching it before and would just like, oh man, this is so good. And um it's not bad, but it's definitely not as good as I remember it being. I wish there was a little more. I wish it was a little less. I don't know. It's okay. So for example, all right. For example, they they bring this guy in, right? Now, I don't know if I've seen this guy before on the show. He just kind of wanders in at some point, and I'm just like, all right. Oh, there we go. I'm like, all right, we got this guy in here, and he comes in, and he's like, okay, I guess I should explain the shield. The shield is basically there's a group of police who are corrupt, and they're the strike force, they're called. And so they get a lot of leeway because they deal with all the gang stuff in, is it LA? They must be in LA. And so because they're dealing with that, they get a lot of leeway, and so they're like the team, right? But of course, because of the show, they're also super corrupt, and so they're taking out all the gang members from rival gangs that oppose the gang that they support, and everybody owes. It's kind of like Training Day. Like I would imagine Training Day probably pulled heavily from the concept of the Shield. They're the same kind of thing, and Training Day with Denzel Washington. Is it Mark Wahlberg? Is he the one that's in that? I think so. There's like two or three guys that I absolutely confuse for each other, like Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon, and there's another one, but I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I can't even picture his face at the moment, but I know there's another one in that group that I confuse for each other. And like if I see them, I know they're not the same person. But when I'm trying to think of movies, they're always in the same kinds of movies. And oh, you know what? It's not even Mark Wahlberg, is it? Is it is it Mark Wahlberg? Dang it. Now I'm thinking that it's, oh, that other guy now. Anyways, Training Day, right? Training Day, the big famous movie with Denzel Washington, where he's a cop and he takes a guy out. Um, uh, the guy sees how corrupt he is. The Shield is kind of like that. So there's like this group and they're super corrupt and they they're always doing shady stuff and trying to cover it up. And so I like that. I enjoy that storyline that they've got going. And all that's good and fine. And then um and then um I guess I could just do this, right? So then they try to do these big conspiracy things, and I just feel like they don't put enough effort into the big conspiracy things. Oh, really? I can't make like what am I missing from this? Oh, water. Right, water. I was like, man, I thought I was up to the hobo stew stuff. Now that this is a thing, I bet I could make um bottles. Can I make bottles? What are you called? Jar. You're a jar. Sorry, not a bottle. Jar. Really? I can't make jars? Over here. Jar. Okay, there doesn't appear to be a recipe for jars. Really? Oh, right here. Empty water jar. Made in the forge. Okay. Oh, it's right here. I'm just blind. Yep. Okay. Need sand. It's like they've got this episode. All right. Just out of the blue, they got this episode, and this guy shows up. Right. You haven't. I don't remember seeing him before. He's probably on the show before, but they didn't really have a big interaction with him. And he comes in, and he's like Mackie, because that's the Mackie's the main guy. He's like, Mac, you gotta help me out. And so he's like, what you need? And he's like, listen, I was driving through a bad part of town and I hit a kid and his buddy pulled out a gun and tried to shoot me. And so I took off and drug the kid with me. And I need you to help me bury it. And so they figure out who the kid was. They figure out who his buddy was, all that stuff. And so they head down and they're talking to him. And then the guy pulls out his gun and shoots the kid. And Mackie's like, what are you doing? He's like, taking care of loose ends. And he's like, this kid had nothing to do with anything. He's like, he was gonna keep his mouth shut. He's like, you don't know that, kind of thing. Like, okay, all right. This will be a nice addition to something Mackie is trying to, or Vic, I'll call him Vic. Vic is trying to cover up. And then And then like later, I don't know if it was the same episode or the next episode. Um, he blames Vic for. Does he blame Vic? I don't remember what happened. Okay, so um, then the guy, he's like turns out to be some higher up in the police department, and he comes in and there's these two old women got killed, and so then he's blaming the department that Vic works at for not doing their job, right? And so uh, Vic starts looking into to the kid and all that, and someone mentions that they'd seen him and that there was another person with him, and so then he's looking at who the other person is. And then while all this is going down, and they're trying to blame the police department for these two old women getting killed, because that guy, in his position, had pulled all the police departments, had pulled all the police, greatly reduced the police in the area where those women lived. And so, because the police presence was down, then crime is up. And so, and then Vic finds out that, right, the guy's doing it on purpose, and that he's working with this woman who is buying up all the real estate using the police pension fund. And so they're gonna buy up all the real estate in the area because they've driven the prices way down by increasing the amount of crime, by reducing the amount of police, and then now he's gonna turn around and order all the cops back to raise the property value, so they can then sell the properties for a profit, right? And so Vic finds out all about this, and the guy goes to his house and threatens his family, and and so Vic is trying to stop him, and then the Vic's chief finds out all this stuff because Vic's chief hates him because he knows that Vic is corrupt, right? And so he's gonna. I'm surprised that zombies haven't come for me. He's surprised, he wants Vic gone for being a corrupt cop, and so they go through all that, and it the whole storyline's over in like one or two episodes, and I was just like, oh well, that wasn't much of a conspiracy thing. They got a warrant to go search Vic's house, and but because there was rando cop killers for the episode, they were waiting for that to be over before they searched Vic's house, and then by the time they were gonna search his house, he'd already got there and found the gun the guy had used to kill that kid. He had taken it, planted it in Vic's house to try and blame Vic for the kid's death, you know. And I'm just like, oh well, this would have been better if it had been like, a half a season thing, not a 2 episode thing. And then uh or like the very first episode, uh the very first episode is like the chief gets a guy wearing a wire in Vic's crew, and the very first episode, Vic realizes that guy is spying on him and kills him. Right? I'm just like, really, we don't even play this out. This is it, huh? Just gone and done. So yeah, so I wish they played things out a little more. Or like the serial killer. I think they had a serial killer that they offhandedly mention. Well, the one detective believes there's a serial killer, and so there's like a couple of crimes in there where he thinks the serial killer did it, and everyone's like, "There's no serial killer," and then there's like one episode where he suddenly figures out the serial killer and finds him and everything and gets him to confess. And I'm like, really? You didn't want to play that out for a whole couple of seasons? Could have been more interesting. I don't know. They just have like the biggest stories and they take place in one episode. Uh, 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 like they again, the whole thing is supposed to be like, oh, they're gonna catch Vic hiding this stuff. So they have one episode. One episode is they catch this kid. They think he's a gang member. They blame him for somebody they killed. They put a gun on him, and it turns out the kid didn't have anything to do with it, and he's trying to set his life straight. And so they decide that they shouldn't have pinned it on that kid. And so then they're trying to get their gun back, and then they fake looking like the gang, and then they rob the police evidence van to get that gun, and then they plant the gun they used to shoot the police van on the gang that they were trying to blame it on in the first place, so they can arrest those guys. And I'm just like, okay, so that's it. That story will never come back again. There's nothing. There's no loose ends. There's no missed piece of evidence. There's nothing. And I'm just like, man, I wish they'd. If this is supposed to be like some big conspiracy about trying to take Vic down, I wish they would play out the stories a little longer. Uh, they're just too quick, and there's no investigation into anything. Uh, yeah, I don't know. And it's just every story pretty much has been either one or maybe two episodes. I think the only thing that's really crossed over is the toilets don't work, and um, Vic's son has autism, and that's it. I don't I don't think there's been a single other story that has crossed over into uh, more than one episode. A little bit, I guess, with the woman. What's her name? Connie. What's it? Connie. I think was her name. And she's like a reoccurring character, so I guess her story pops up every now and then. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not as good as some of the more modern cop shows I've watched. All right, well, with that, be right the small things, leaving the light, and I will talk to you later.